Welcome to Chat with Madamwhipass. I have a very wonderful, special, gorgeous, intelligent, a woman of God who knows the word. Her name is JaelHouseProductions. She does have a YouTube channel, JaelHouseProductions, JaelHouse Productions. Some of you may know her, some of you may not, but Jailhouse Productions was a woman who was part of a YouTube generation that has come on YouTube and shut the church down, mega churches, shutting the BS down. That's what they did. There was Kevin Oliver, uh, Jailhouse Productions, uh, Marcellus, Church Folk Revolution, so many YouTubers. And what they did starting from like 2007, 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think up to like 2014, 15, this class of YouTubers, they woo, they would just debunk all of the videos that these mega preachers would put out. Creflo Dollar, Eddie Long, what's that big old walrus in Texas? TD Jakes, and a couple of other, so many of them. They would come out with these videos, and people like Jailhouse Productions will come back with their rebuttal videos and dissect the word of God, make it plain, make it clear, and really got people to understand that you don't have to be inside of the church, going to church, to truly be in the church. So without further ado, I'm going to allow and introduce Jailhouse Productions to you right now. My dear friend, how are you?
Well, Madam, with that, I am so spectacular, and I am humbled by that awesome introduction that I don't even feel I deserve, but I'll take it, okay?
Oh, girl, you better take it and hold on to it and never let it go because you deserve every bit of it and then some.
Oh, you are so sweet.
So,
I just, you are just a phenomenal individual who I have had the pleasure of knowing, I guess, 6, 7 years now. Somewhere around there.
Wow.
And you also were a part of that generation that gave them a left hook and a rope a dope and knocked them out as well. Like no other. Like no other. And
wow.
I never will forget when we spoke on the phone one time, and I was recording a video, and we were talking about Paula White. And I was asking you what you thought about her, and you said, well, Paula White just found her niche in niggas, and I fell out.
Oh my goodness.
We have had some good times, some good conversations, and but you were talking about the church and no longer having to go inside the four walls in order to be considered a Christian or a follower of God. And we have been able to have fellowship with each other over the years, which has it been instrumental in building me up and building each other up. I know we have over the years.
Yes.
So it's been a wonderful experience with you, girl.
Yes, I have to agree. Yeah. And I have to say, I called you a few minutes ago and we were talking and we started to get real deep, as we always do, as we converse. And I said, this is a conversation that I think I need to go live because the world needs to hear it. And I was telling you that I noticed that these preachers don't flood YouTube with their sermons anymore. And I said that's because this generation of YouTube shut them down. And, and in that process, we all have took on the task to enlighten people, to get them to understand that, God is real, and it's not that we were against God. We was against the false teaching, against the manipulations, and all the other tactics that they use. And if it wasn't for YouTube and people like us, so many people will continue to be blindly led. And from what we're seeing now, the attendance in the mega churches have dwindled. What say you?
Mm-hmm. From what I'm hearing, that seems to be the case. That seems to be the case. And I can't, give any numbers, any statistics, but generally the word out on the street is that the attendance is dwindling. Many people are coming out with articles about, reaching the millennials and why they don't want to go to church. And, that's just kind of widespread. The widespread message out there now is people are not going to church as they used to. And then there's an agenda to try to reach another generation to, get them back into church. And so I think that, people are trying to come up with strategies and methods in order to make that happen. But I think more than that, what should be taken from it is, is what you're doing or what you've been doing, was that from God in the first place?
Right.
Was that from God in the first place? Because the scripture that I read said that when they gathered together, they brought everything before the apostles' feet, and then they gave it to everyone who was there, so that no one had need. Mm-hmm. And so the system of this church system that I grew up under looked nothing like the one I read in the Bible.
Right.
So yeah. So my thing is, was that even what it was supposed to be initially? And I'm not going to take everything away from it. I have to be grateful for how I was raised, how I came up, because I think there's a learning experience in everything. Mm-hmm. But when you know more, then you have to do more. You can't just settle with, because that's the way I was told, that's the way I'm going to do it. I think you get enlightened. Everybody should be and continue to be enlightened. And then you have to allow yourself to change, or allow change to take place. And the problem with the church is it was something that happened generation after generation. And then change was not something to be considered. And then so people came along and used that to their advantage, knowing that people would not change, or would not, be enlightened, based on the fact that this is what was given to them by their parents. This is what their parents did. This is what their grandparents did. This is what we did for generations back. This is what got us through slavery. This is what, and on and on and on. So we're less likely to change, less likely to be enlightened. And so you just keep on going with the rigmarole. And then people use that to their advantage. And then we got to where we got to today, where, people are being manipulated and conned out of their money. Mm-hmm. And this sort of thing. So anyway, I don't know why I said all that, but I did.
Well, it's just pretty amazing. And I'm reminded of a conversation I had with someone this morning. Someone has said to me this morning mm-hmm. that the atheist population mm-hmm. is growing abundantly. Mm-hmm. And so mm-hmm. this generation of YouTubers who have come on YouTube and shut the church down, and you all left. Uh-huh. I'm wondering if you all are going to come back, because we can't have a nation of atheists.
Well, now you just opening up a can of worms now, aren't you there? Mm-hmm. Because I have learned, even since the time that I stopped doing videos, I mean, I didn't want that to be the end all be all, right?
Mm-hmm.
The message that we were saying, a lot of YouTubers were saying, like, against what we call false prophets, against what we call those who are manipulating people inside the church wall. I don't think that message should have been the end all be all,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to go on, if that's not the way, well, what is the way?
Mm-hmm.
If that's not the truth, well, what is the truth?
Mm-hmm.
So, so you're speaking of, the growing numbers of atheists, and I really believe, first of all, I'm going to say that God has made himself known by what he's made. So it's not ultimately, at the end of the day, our responsibility necessarily to make believers out of people.
Right.
Ultimately, at the end of the
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's not necessarily, I don't believe, our responsibility. That is, if everybody has a creator, just like the creator created you and I, and he was able to make himself known to us, he's able to make himself known even to the most staunch atheists.
Mm-hmm.
So, I understand that people have mandates that they feel, they want to reach the world for Christ, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's fine. But, I'm saying that, what we saw, all the manipulation and everything come in and kind of distort things. And so, as you said, because of that, many are becoming atheists. But his arm is not too short that he can't reach them just because a place with 4 walls with a name on it, First, Second Baptist, whatever, is not in operation.
Right.
So he can still reach who he needs to reach by whatever means that he needs to reach them, whether it be, through a casual conversation that they have, that they run up, with a believer, whether it be something that a conviction that they have from wherever.
Mm-hmm.
But my point also was that I was moving toward gaining more enlightenment and more knowledge, and that season of time not being the end all be all. So coming up to today, I really feel that it's an authentic thing where, because the Bible says we are living epistles, we are read by all men.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to work, if you go to work, if we go to the grocery store, people can detect who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so much deeper than hearing a sermon on a Sunday morning. Although I'm not discounting that. I'm not counting that out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much more than that. It's so much bigger than that. What I think it had become, this is the only way to get it.
Right.
This is the only way that it can be done. So I just don't think that's the only way that it can be done. And then what that did also was restrict people and confine people to those 4 walls, inside those 4 walls.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you just invite somebody to church, and then, okay, you get a gold star in your crown. And, then it's up to the preacher up there to preach the gospel, and that they get it, and they hopefully will join in and become another constricted, confined member of that church.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's just bigger. And we look at, again, to answer your question, if we're looking at the church system, we are looking at the numbers that they count to know who is a Christian in this country, right?
Right.
The numbers that they count in these institutions. And thereby we know how many people are believers, and we know how many people are not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but do we really? But do we really? The person that I meet that in a coffee shop whose life maybe changes because they say, well, I want to become a believer too, and they walk and they leave and they go live their life, I will never know it.
Right.
They'll never go join a church, necessarily. And things like that can happen just over and over and over again outside of the church, outside of where they're counting numbers.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't believe that an institution can have that much control over who's who in the world. We know we've narrowed down. There's this many believers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, grandson, hold on. Go take this out there. I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, I don't think that we have to necessarily. Wait a minute. Did you? Wait a minute, girl. The atheist problem. Here we go. Now, you ready, girl?
I'm ready.
These folks, these evangelicals, okay,
mm-hmm.
that have now shown their true colors
mm-hmm.
since Trump has been in office.
Mm-hmm.
You look, I will align myself with an atheist any day. Okay, you might want to hang up on me. You might want to hang up on me now.
Oh, no.
Align myself.
No, I can't do that. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't mean to that I align myself in belief system, but align myself in I have seen that these people, a lot of them who call themselves atheists, they really know the Bible, and they really are pointing out nowadays more than ever that you who call yourself Christian, you who call yourself evangelical, you're not even living to the standard that you say that you are to live by.
Mm-hmm.
The atheists are pointing that out.
Wow.
So if you make a distinction and say they're atheists, they're Christian, wait a minute, I'm going to say, are they really Christian? Is what I'm going to say.
Wow.
Are they really Christian? These people, these who have, in my opinion, shown their true colors since Trump has been in office, who can have no sympathy for children who are being locked up in cages on the border,
in cages,
who are being separated from their parents.
Wow.
There is absolutely no humanity behind this evangelicalism that is following Trump. And so I say, what's the difference? You say atheist, you say Christian. I say, really, because you've stigmatized atheists, not you, but we have put a stigma on atheists because they don't believe in God. They don't believe there is a God, but they can understand and see what humanity and kindness and compassion is.
Right.
Whereas over on this side, you say you're Christian, you follow Christ, and your actions show no love, no compassion, no humanity whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, so I rather go by actions than titles and names, I guess is what I'm saying.
You know, I've been telling somebody, talking about relationships and how important it is to say, I love you. And my thing is this, I find that people who always talk about, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, they doing the most, the worst in a relationship.
Right.
And it's not about I love you or saying I love you all the time. It's your actions. Yes. Now, I may not say I love you all the time, but my actions will show you that I do.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's the same thing with these Christians who support Donald Trump. How can you say you love the Lord and there are children in cages? And not only that, that's a breeding ground for pedophiles. They need people to work those concentration camps or whatever you want to call them. And
that's what they are.
That's a magnet for pedophiles.
Absolutely.
To work there.
Absolutely.
How many of those children are being sexually abused and raped as we speak this very moment?
Yes. 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 Yeah.
But nobody wants to talk about that.
Right. Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just no telling what's really going on down there. It's just no telling. Oh God. Hold on one second. Okay, go ahead.
And it's funny, as far as I can remember, in terms of being aware of, presidents, all the time, Ronald Reagan, he's the Antichrist. Ronald Wilson Reagan is 6 letters in each of his names, 666.
Right.
Everybody's the Antichrist. I've never heard anybody say Trump is the Antichrist, and he's doing the most Antichrist stuff I've ever seen in my entire life in the office of president.
It's the truth.
But nobody says he's the Antichrist.
You're telling the truth.
It's amazing.
You're telling the truth. It's amazing. It really is. It really is. It really is. And the most amazing thing is to have the so-called Christian backing that he has.
Even the black preachers.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video. It's called Paula White Blessed to Kill. Now that video it was done. I don't know. You know what? It was done around that time Zachary Timms was killed. When was that? 2012?
Okay. So that was way back.
Yes. And in the beginning of that video, I talk about Paula White's relationship with Donald Trump. And I say in this video that Donald Trump is one of the most racist white men in America. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
Okay.
And this is Paula White, who at the time stole a black church.
Stole it, girl. Stole it.
So a church full of black people under this pastoralship of this white woman who hobnobs with one of the most racist white men in America. What does that tell you about your pastor?
Exactly. Should be no surprise.
Yeah. Paula White. She found her niche in niggers.
And that's all it was a niche for a come up.
Now I wonder if that church now is still predominantly black. I heard it changed over. There ain't a lot of black people there. That's what I heard.
Okay. Well, I don't keep up anymore, but maybe that's something I'll follow up on.
And I also heard that it's in some sort of financial problem. And remember, when she stole the church, it was debt free.
Right.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Of course, nothing good can come out of doing things the way she did it. And sometimes it takes a while. Can I say the word karma?
Yes.
It takes a while for karma to show her face, but then she comes around, She eventually works her way around. And so there's nothing good, in my opinion, has come out of what Paula White has produced.
Ever. In none of the churches that she's owned.
Yeah. It's all been a game. She's one of the chief con artists out there in the religious world, I believe. But the thing about it is, and I guess which is why we were saying before we went live, I was saying how when I was doing videos, it's because I had this passion and I had this like burning desire to get this, how I felt out there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons is because I was a follower of her and some of the other ones.
Wow.
And so when my eyes were open, so to speak, it was like, oh, oh no. And I had this burning desire, this passion to get this message out there that, hey, these people are crap. They are literal crap. And it just made me even more passionate, just because I know how I, would read their books and watch them every time they come on the Word Network and try to run and see them somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember when I first found the Lord, I would just watch everybody, and I just thought everybody was saved, and how naive I was, being a babe in Christ.
Right.
And then when you start to see things, it's hard to reconcile what you have been believing and what you're really seeing. And then, you have these intrusive thoughts. Well, don't judge, and, touch not God's anointed, and da, da, da. And then finally you get to the point and this is a bunch of malarkey.
Exactly.
And then you stand up on your own 2 feet and say, no, because what you're saying is not congruent with what the Word of God states.
Exactly.
So, oh, Jesus, help us all.
Exactly. Yes. So since that time, I guess come to. It's almost like it's been so long now. It's almost like that was never my life.
Yeah, y'all have that.
Even though I know it was. Go ahead.
Our generation who just came and shut stuff down and left. I think all of us are going to start to come back slowly but surely, because I think there's something else we're going to have to do.
Okay.
I'm starting to see that. Now, what that is, I'm not sure. But I'm glad that we were all instrumental in dismantling the mega churches. Yeah. And that whole thing. Yeah. Because even when I didn't know much, and the mega churches started popping up somewhere around like 1999, 2000.
Right.
And even then I was looking at it like, this can't be good. Yeah, you have 10,000 people in your church, literally in your church on a Sunday. This is who you call your pastor. And you can see him in the supermarket. He won't even know you're a member. That can't possibly be good. I think your pastor ought to know you and your family and remember your grandmama and your Uncle Flake and your mama, your grandmama's mama. That's how well your pastor should know you and your family. You going down the supermarket aisle and you see your pastor and you be like, praise the Lord, pastor. Oh, what does he say? I'm sure he's nice and pleasant, but he's going to have to ask you your name.
Well, exactly, because, I do believe that is even the word in and of itself, pastor, is someone who oversees and someone who is a nurturer, like of a flock, so to speak. So if you don't know the individuals, how can you effectively oversee, nurture, or how can you? So I guess what I'm thinking in this moment is perhaps that is not what they are. Perhaps they shouldn't have called themselves pastor.
Yeah.
Because that is more of an intimate type of relationship where because if the Bible is true, where it says, know them who labor among you,
exactly.
Would the opposite be true as well? That the ones who are laboring among you need to know the ones that they are laboring for. It would be a reciprocal relationship, as I see it. But to be true to the true term of what a pastor is,
right,
according to the Bible. So maybe they called themselves pastor, but I don't think that that's really authentically. You couldn't be with 10,000 people.
No, it's a connection. It's a connectionless relationship, and the only connection was through tithes and offering. That was the
come on now.
That was the rope or the chain that linked you to the pastor. Your tithes and your offering. I'm just so glad that people have opened up their eyes with that tithes and offering. Foolishness.
Yes.
And it's amazing how they translated what the tithes and offering really was, which was food and fruit in the Bible, and how they translated that to dollars. That made them purchase, or not even purchase, have 25-bedroom homes built and jets. And $16,000 dogs. And let's not forget about the gold toilet bowl.
Well, you know what that whole thing did is it pushed me away from. Now here's a difference, right? There's a difference in a prosperity gospel, what they call it, and prosperity. And so what it did when I came out of that, movement or whatever you want to call it, the church, it pushed me away from prosperity. And because I couldn't decipher, it was difficult for me to decipher. It put prosperity in the bad boat with the prosperity gospel. Okay, so I, in my mind, was staying away from even prosperity, even wanting to prosper, or even thinking that it was okay to want to prosper.
Right.
Because of that close connection with that prosperity gospel.
Wow. And
I even in some of the videos that I did back then, I can see that my head was, and my thinking was, even that prosperity was a bad thing, a negative thing, if you will. Anything beyond your, life necessities. And that's the kind of taste it put in my mouth, right?
Right.
So, as I said earlier, that I know that couldn't be the end all be all, my message, so to speak, or what I was talking about a lot. I still had to grow beyond that. And I still had to become enlightened beyond that. And so I'm happy to say now that I've been able to decipher and to discern that prosperity in and of itself is not a bad thing. And just the way that they went about to prosper was a bad thing.
Manipulating people to prosper is a bad thing.
Is a bad thing. Bad thing. But it was so, it just did such a job on me until I was like, okay, put my cross finger up. No, stay away from me, prosperity. Stay away from me. Bad.
That's really bad.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway. So I've come to understand that, because you look at, like you were saying about the people with the 25-bedroom mansions and the jets and, and you associate the gospel that they're preaching, or it's not the gospel, but the message of prosperity that they're preaching with that prosperity. And so you have to separate in your mind, which I had to do, separate in my mind. No, the prosperity in and of itself is not bad. The blessing, being blessed, however God chooses to bless you, is not bad. Working for what you need to work for and, to gain and to acquire is not bad. So I've come out of that. I've somehow been able to pull away from that. And I think it's been good for me that, like I told you, I haven't been watching, I just don't watch him no more. I don't pay no attention to him. I don't pay no attention to him. I don't pay no attention to him at all. It's like, I'm just going on with my life. And so, and and now I can see things more clear, being separated, not from just the church, but even from talking about what I don't like about the church. That separation as well has pushed me forward and to another level of knowing and understanding God and being able to be fruitful and work and do what I need to do to provide and for my family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is one of your most memorable videos that you have done?
Okay, let me think. Most memorable.
What was the one video that you did? And it might be more than one, but what's that one that you said, I know God used me in that video?
Okay. Well, there's a couple that come to mind. I think I did one. It was really silly, but I was making a point that I was singing on the piano. I was saying, "Don't prosper from my pain," and I was preaching to the preachers. But in their the way they preach, and God, He said, "Don't you prosper from my pain. You trying to get my money. You trying to kind of like that." But the point was, you are prospering from my pain because you're telling me that I bring my tithes, I bring my offering. God will fix it for me. But all in the end, what you're prospering from my pain.
Wow.
That one. And
that's very powerful.
And it's not even maybe a minute long.
Wow.
That's one. Gosh, I must have. I've just. There are so many of them.
Well, yeah.
I think maybe. I remember the one where Juanita Bynum said she saw Jesus in the church. I really thought after I did this one, I said, now if this don't wake people up, I just really don't know what will. This is clear. This is the woman said that Jesus came in the church. She took a picture of him. He was over there by the drum set. She put the picture up and tried to show the picture of what she called Jesus. And I'm like, now why Jamal Harrison Bryant didn't get up in that moment and say, Satan, the Lord rebuke you. Get out of here. I don't know why. I don't know why nobody else caught on and didn't take off running out the building. Yeah, I think I talked about that. And then she was sitting up in the pulpit And she looked just like the Starbucks lady on the Starbucks cup.
Yep, she sure did.
You remember that one?
She sure
and
did.
I put the Starbucks cup right up next to her picture. Anyway.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So I guess maybe those are a couple that I can think of, in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of y'all made countless impactful videos, and there's a saying that less is more. And there's quite a few of you who did 1 minute, 2 minute videos that said so much that could not even be said in a 30-minute video.
Okay.
That's how powerful you were, or all of you were. My most memorable video is something that I caught a lot of people off guard with. And it was the Winans who preached at Whitney Houston's funeral.
Yes, I remember.
Was that Marvin Winans?
Yeah.
And he completely, I don't want to say pissed off because I'm trying to be eloquent here. So he completely perturbed me. When he stood up there on this platform at that moment, the widest platform that was seen all around the world.
All over the world, yes.
And he sat there and spoke about the prosperity gospel.
Yes.
Not, do you know Jesus? Do you know the Lord? The Lord can save you. The Lord can deliver you. None of that. It was about money.
Yes.
And then I tell you, it had to be about a month later. He got robbed and beat down at a gas station.
Oh, yeah.
And the video I made that caught people off guard, because nobody realized that was the Lord sending him an ass whooping.
Okay.
Nobody could see that but me, huh? There's no way you can say you are called by God and be on a major platform like that.
Right.
And you don't worship and praise his name. You're praising prosperity. Of course, the Lord is going to send you an ass whooping behind that. Of course.
Well, that goes to show as well that I don't. Who was even, honestly? Come on, that's Whitney Houston, and who was even really paying attention to him?
Yeah, right.
I was like, who is even paying attention to what he's? It's just like when people go to church, and it's the same old funny thing that happens. It's the story that we say all the time. What did he preach about at church today? I don't know, but it sure was good. So it's like, really, people don't pay attention that go all the time anyway. So, really, who was really paying attention? But I get your point. That's just pretty disgusting. Yeah, to have that type of opportunity and to, and there again. But I think also, it's who would think that one of the Winans would be playing into that realm, that prosperity gospel realm. So the Winans of all people, to me, the most, at least when I was, coming up in the church and first getting saved, and hearing the Winans, it was just such a pure, like, music and pure people that, they come up holy and sanctified, and it just almost, heaven sent.
Yeah, and you can hear it in their voices when they sing.
Yeah, yes. And then, and then they, and then he goes off down that. And there again, I think their music was so wonderful, so popular. They got what they got. They earned it.
Yeah.
They earned from their music, from their gifts, from their talent. They earned it. They earned every dime they made off their music.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're gonna come along and turn it into a prosperity gospel. You're gonna fall into the trap of that formula.
Mm-hmm.
When you made it off your gift, off your talent, and how God blessed you.
Yep.
That part I ain't gonna take away. But now you falling into the trap of this formula. No.
Mm-hmm.
And this manipulation.
Yep. All the more reason why the Lord sent him an ass whooping that day. All the more reason.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know, it is just amazing how you have like 10 children and all 10 of them can sing. Good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Phenomenal.
Ooh, wee. But you know, and so since, you know, like I said, I'll say it again, y'all came and shut the church down and left. There has been quite a few things that have popped up since y'all have been gone, and it won't pull y'all out of retirement. I know y'all look and see.
You say retirement.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the foolishness that has been going on over the past few months has not provoked either of you to come back to your platform and even make a 1-minute video about it. Like, for instance, Joshua Holmes. Okay. These people really believe he is Jesus. If you go on his Facebook page, all his members have his last name.
Oh, girl, stop.
Yes. All his members have his last name. You didn't know that? What? See, you've been out the loop.
No.
You talking about a cult?
I told you I ain't paying no attention. But his last name.
Yep. They all have his last name. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this must be his sister or his cousin. Oh, he got a lot of relatives in his church. But no.
Oh, my God.
No. And this same anointed prophetic man who they say is Jesus in the flesh, we see him banging some chick out doggy style.
Oh, my God.
In a video.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord have mercy. I
don't ever want to see Jesus doing it doggy style. I don't want to see Jesus doing it at all.
He said he's Jesus. Is that what you're saying?
People say he's Jesus. His members say he's Jesus in the flesh. And he don't rebuke them.
Wow.
He doesn't shut it down. And then you see this so-called Jesus slapping booty, and it's like, what? Really? Then you got Juanita Bynum, and her anointed panties was seen by a pastor.
Now, I did hear about that. I did hear about that mess right there.
You know, and then you got, who is this pastor? I don't know this pastor. I didn't know him until a video came out with his son performing fellatio right there at the altar on some man.
Oh, my God.
You didn't hear that one?
No.
Honey, he was, The video, the guy he was doing was recording it, and his guy saying, yeah, he's, I'm gonna clean it up. He's performing fellatio on his daddy's, penis in his daddy's church. And I mean, the pastor's son was on his knees going to work. Like
Oh my
Jesus
God.
ain't never gonna come back. Right there in the pulpit of
Oh
his
my
daddy's
God.
church. Could you imagine?
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
I wish I could be a fly on the
Mm.
wall with the conversation between his pastor daddy and himself after his father finds out about that video.
Trying to explain
Sitting on a
himself, huh?
pew, one of the special chairs off to the side, like maybe where the mothers sit, the
Uh-huh.
mother's board sits.
Uh-huh.
One of those chairs up there in the front. This is what
Oh
he's
my
doing,
God.
carrying on. Look, I can't be judging nobody. If you're gay, you're gay, whatever, whatever, whatever. But do you have to do it in the church? Do you have to do it in your daddy's
Oh
church? You
wow.
could have did that any other place in the world. You are the pastor's
Mm.
son, and that's the spot you chose to do that?
Wow.
Why would you desecrate a church like that? Your
Wow.
father's church. Because I know if I was a member,
Right.
I wouldn't be able to focus on nothing the pastor would say ever again. I'd be looking over there in that corner. Like, word? That's what he was doing over there?
Oh my gosh. Uh. Well, I can't. I oh God.
And I won't direct you to the video. Obnoxious TV had that whole full video. And let me tell you, I'll just say he was ferocious with it.
Wait, it
Ferocious.
showed? It was
Yes.
a video?
Yes. A very
Oh
vivid,
my God.
explicit video.
Mm, 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 mm. You know what, Madamwhipass?
Yes.
I just would have to have some more Holy Ghost power for me to get back up into that.
Wow.
Because I mean, that is just so far beyond
Mm-hmm.
that is so far beyond it's almost like I couldn't even speak on that. Like, let alone somebody doing it. I would speak on it. You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
Fixing my mouth to speak on it.
Mm. I would hope when his father saw him, whether he summoned his son to his house or he went to his son's house or whatever. I know if I was his father, I would have went to his house. I would have found him with the biggest strap I could find, and I would just whip him like Jesus whipped them people in the temple. I would.
Oh God. Yeah.
I would. Could
That
you
is
imagine
crazy.
having a child you raise up in the church and from little, before you go to bed, we're going to say our prayers, and you have him sitting in Sunday school and all of this, and then he grow up to, I'm trying to keep it clean.
Right.
But he grows up to do this in the pulpit. So that tells me, Pastor, that your child does not know God. Your child does not even respect God. Now, can we blame that on the pastor?
Well, I'm going to say that it is a fallacy what they have wanted the church to represent. I'm going to say that they have put out this notion that if it says church, then it doesn't do this. There's a list of things that they don't do. If it says church, don't do this. Which to me has really been the trick. It's really been a fallacy. It's really been it's something that you oh God, what is that word? You're trying to be something that you never can be.
Right.
Okay? If you look at what the philosophy of Christianity is, is by grace that you're saved through faith. That not of yourself, lest you should boast, right?
Right.
But they've turned it into something where it almost is of ourselves. And it is our power that restrains us from not committing the sins on this list.
Mm-hmm.
And the power comes from if you're in church every week, if you pay your tithes and offerings, if you listen to the pastor, that's what will keep you from being a sinner, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they've moved the for by grace through faith. They've moved that out the way. And then if you just come here and if you just pay your tithes and offerings, then you're okay. So, in other words, now you have the fallout from their way of doing church, for lack of a better way to put it, is all this stuff that's happening. Because you don't take grace upon yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You take a religion upon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take his righteousness upon yourself. You take order of service upon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You take, and so that's not going to stop you or keep you from committing these irreverent acts, if you will.
Right.
Because all you're doing is going through some motions. And I'm just saying, on a large scale, this ain't everybody, but for the most part, you go through the motions. And that's not, to me, that is not a true, authentic relationship with the Creator.
Right.
That is a formality. That is, it's no different than going to school. You go to school at this time, you listen to the teacher, you get out at 3:00 when the bell rings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a formality, and it's not an authentic, relationship. So I'm not surprised that all this crap is happening, because to me, the subliminal message is just be here, just listen to, just get indoctrinated by what this pastor is saying. Just come to the doors of the church, and the more you're there, the better Christian you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it is surprising, that kind of crap. It is very surprising, but at the same time, it's not.
Ugh.
At the same time, it's not. If you look at that structure, if you look at that, like we were saying at the beginning, was that how it was designed to be in the first place? I'm not convinced that it is, because I don't see that anywhere. I don't see that anywhere in the Bible. I just don't. It ain't there, girl.
I just think that it's unfortunate that we're not surprised. I think we should be surprised when something like this happens, when the pastor's son is slobbing the knob up in the pulpit. And,
right.
Is this what it has come down to? Excuse the pun. But that we're just not surprised? That's horrible.
Well, well, first and foremost, though, is the sexual thing is in the church in very heavily. I mean, where there's a leadership taking advantage of women,
mm-hmm.
or whether it's a violating children. I mean, it's almost. It arises so much. It's so prevalent that some years ago it was surprising, but now it's like all the time.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around,
they gooping the kids.
Yeah. Which again tells me that structure, it's like, do these people go to this place called church to hide behind what they think people think about church?
Mm-hmm.
And then commit these acts. And then who is there that discerns? I remember back when Zachary Timms died, I did make a video about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so surprised that this man was using drugs. So they can discern and they can prophesy about you getting a car, you getting a house,
Yep.
this time tomorrow, by this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you all of these prophetic so-called things, words of knowledge, and so-called this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But these people that were around this man could not tell that, they didn't have discernment enough to know that he needed some help. Where were they?
And it's amazing because he had his own word show channel, word network. And there was quite a few times, like, you sit there and look at him and be like, is this nigga high? Can't be. Nah, he on the word network. He's a preacher, he's a pastor. Can't be. But I swear this nigga look like he tweaking.
Apparently he was.
Yeah.
Apparently he was.
And you rationalize within yourself, well, if he was high, I'm sure, these super duper prophetic people, the owners and all these people that surely they, the Lord done told them, yo, this nigga high. But no.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I just got one more update.
Okay.
Whether you know or not, so we know that Jamal Bryant has taken over what is it, New Birth, Bishop Eddie Long's church.
Okay, I did know that. Mm-hmm.
And about a week ago, I saw a video. Remember the guy, is his name Pastor Stephen Davis? The guy who took over Eddie's church after he passed away?
Yeah, the one that his wife said that this is who he had chosen.
Yeah. And so then,
yeah.
So then he kind of left. He said he was like the transitional pastor. And then in walks Jamal Bryant. But this guy, the one Davis or whatever, he just let out the bag. He was praying for people and spilling tea on people over at New Birth. As he was laying hands on people, he's sitting up there. I forgot all that he said, but it wasn't very complimentary. But he let you know that some fishy things were going on between certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why he left. And that he will be back in Atlanta because I think he's from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. And he's about to open his church in Atlanta. And pretty much in so many words, he was like, New Birth gonna have some competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my stars.
Yeah, so not much stuff comes out. You don't hear nothing about Fred Price. I think Daddy Price is old and sick, and I think you were well aware his son took over. But then I think he stepped down. Was he having an affair with somebody or something?
Some impropriety. Yes.
Yeah.
A while back.
So that went on, and and that's it. You just hear droplets of information. It's not flooded across the YouTube channels anymore like it used to be, thanks to your generation of YouTubers. So again, I just want to say I am feeling a pull.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And something I'm telling you, it's a pull that is like, you need to change your platform. Madamwhipass.
Okay.
People need to learn and know how to connect with God for
Mhm.
themselves.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
keeps popping in
Mhm.
my spirit. You
Okay.
need to make videos about fasting and get
Mhm.
people to fast with you and teach them
Mhm.
and fast with them. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, it is just pulling in my spirit to do this.
Okay. 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 I'm gonna support what you do. Um, yeah, I definitely support what you do. And if that's how he's leading you, I guess you better do it.
You know, I better do it before I get in trouble,
You,
right?
I mean, I like that concept. Of course, teaching people how to know God for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
giving,
Mm-hmm.
enlightening people. I mean, of course, I do believe that it is important for people to see examples of others, um, who know God. Of course, I can't count the many times that someone has said, they have seen maybe something in me, or
Mm-hmm.
people that I don't know. And I think that's a testament that, you know, of my relationship with God, and that it's important for others to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I do think that's very important. I do, and at one time in my life, it was immediately I would direct them to the church that I belong to.
Wow, right? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I see what you're saying is, for people to know him for themselves outside of the construct of an institutional church
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Direct
And
them straight to the
right.
source
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
within
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Mm-hmm.
and I've been
Right.
questioning, like, okay, so where do you want me to go with this? What am I supposed to do? And it's like, uh, don't worry about that. Just start it.
Yes. Right.
And
Pretty
it
much.
doesn't matter if
Yeah.
I do these videos and only one person gets on board with me. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even matter.
Right.
It's not about
Exactly.
numbers or greatness coming from this. It's not about that. Not in terms of
Mm-hmm.
having 100,000 people or followers or anything.
Right.
It's just a
Right.
few people that the Lord
Mm-hmm.
really wants
Mm-hmm.
to do something for. Who those people are, I don't know.
Right. Exactly. You just have to go as he says, move, move. And then, yeah, I believe he'll do the rest. He'll lead those, that he wants to hear from you to you.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
For
exactly
sure.
what's going to happen. So I think I need to
Mm-hmm.
get on the
Mm-hmm.
ball and figure out some things and set some things in order before I
I
embark
love it.
on such a task.
Uh-huh. 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 Right. And I do know that he will, yeah, he'll show you as you go.
Yeah, yeah.
He will definitely show you as you go. You know,
And
and I think
I can expect the devil. You can always expect the devil in a
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
situation when God is really trying to move.
Right,
But
right.
I ain't scared of the
Oh yeah,
devil.
that part. That part.
I ain't scared of the devil.
That part.
But anyway,
Exactly.
um, before we end this wonderful broadcast, thank you so much for coming on. I just like to have you have the final remarks.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate you having this conversation with me today. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We always we'll go months and we won't talk, and then when we do talk again, it's almost like we've never any time in between.
Uh-huh.
So I certainly appreciate you, and I value and treasure our friendship, and I do look forward to many more conversations, of course, and I speak live, live conversation, because we talk, periodically here and there. But this has been really a treat for me today. I was nervous when you said, "Can we go live?" Because I haven't done anything like this in so long. So it did make me a little nervous, but it was really fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get your feet wet again.
Well, you got me stirred up just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, just trying to stir the fire of the Holy Ghost up. And when that starts burning, woo, you're gonna take off running.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But aside from that, I must say that I am at a place right now in my life where I just am happy and I am content, and I don't have the religious bondage. I don't have the religious weight. I feel so free. I feel like I'm continuing to learn, continuing to grow, to be enlightened. I feel that, it was the best thing that I could have ever done is, move out of that system, that church system.
Mm-hmm.
And, not knowing what was going to be ahead. I left the church by faith. Oh, imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just so happy. I'm so content. I haven't left God. I'm understanding Him now in ways that I never have before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am blessed. I am blessed. And I thank Him. I give Him, the glory. I know He put me on the path that I'm on. And so I'm just so happy. I'm so content. And I'm so blessed just to still have you in my life. And it's been a pleasant journey, and we have just had a ball. And I'm just looking forward to what's next for us.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna move on this pull that I've been experiencing for about a month now. I think it's time. I think I'm gonna put all these videos I've been doing on private or delete them really, and just start off a clean slate and go where I'm being moved to go. And it's just, it's not going to be about any preaching or anything. It's just about allowing God to manifestate and reveal Himself to you. And when it first happens, you're going to be like, this is really God. Because you're really not going to, you're going to understand it, but it's like, that was just a coincidence. He's going to show and prove some things.
Yes.
And He's just amazing. I can't give Him enough praise for what He's done in my life. This past August 7th made 30 years that night that He filled me. Woo-wee. 30 years.
Wow.
Now that's something.
Amazing. Yeah, it is. And He's kept you all in years. Look at it.
He really has. And so, who knows? Maybe He just wants to start a little something, and maybe others will just jump on. And I'm saying to Him now, Lord, I don't want this to be some sort of churchy thing. I'm not trying to start no church or anything. I you know what? I just want to go where you want me to go.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
it.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I like it. I mean, like I said, my question is, the pattern of church, was it initially, was that initially supposed to be the design? Was that initially supposed to be, how we ended up? Is that the initial, purpose? I don't think so. So I believe that, we live, we learn, we grow, we create, and it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be what he put in you to create and to do, Not this manufactured freaking, assembly line type of religion that has been produced. It should be new. It should be fresh. It should be something that, he gives to you and you share in your own way. You express. So I like it. I like it.
Amen.
I do like it.
So it be. All right. Thank you so much, Jailhouse Productions. I try to keep these videos, at a minimum of an hour, and that's it, And
okay.
It won't be too far or long, but we shall do this again in the future soon.
All right. I look forward to it.
All righty. You have a great night, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right, sweetheart. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was my dear friend Jailhouse Productions. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I'm going to come to the chat real quick. Oh, wow. It's a lot of you in the chat room. All right. Sassy Cat. Oh, yes. She says, I am in awe of your esteemed guest. Oh, thank you. And it's Queen Common Sense. Hello, hello, hello. All righty. And working long hours. All right. Thank you, finally climbed out of my hole. Oh, good for you. Last wanted to see you die. No, 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 no. I can't believe anyone would wish bad for you. Hypersis, yes. In this chat, yes, they have and still do. No, but I know. I hope they don't show themselves. Make me mad. Thank you for having my back. Yes, yes, yes. Take YouTube and gossip too seriously. And when I stand on facts, it usually reveals much envy. Yeah. Readings and peace. Hey, I'm City. What I see, not what I hear. Right. Some of what's seen is sometimes unreal. No, that's true too. Most folk that don't like me based on what others say, and just because I am no punk. No, no, no. Boom. Please keep my government name under wraps on her. Oh, and pastor's kids have typically been the wildest ones. That was pretty wild, wasn't it, Sassy? To a minister, and my stepdaughter was ratchet. Drake, hey! Love you, Drake. Good to see you. And I got your message. Congratulations. The Lord has blessed you, Drake. The East Coast came out. Man, I'm like, word? I'm going to have to catch. How are you? And the feather babies, too. All right, Hope. Bless the Lord Christ, oh my soul spirit. That's a psalm too. All right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to catch up on the chat. Thank you all. Hope, Elm City, Queen Common Sense, and Sassy Cat. And I don't think I forgot anyone else. And Drake Cole, of course. All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And there'll probably be a lot more. In fact, I know how to pull Jailhouse in. Now, the next time there's a scandal going on, I'm just going to call her and I'm going to go live and I'm going to say, Jailhouse, we live. Let me tell you what happened. And I tell you, those organic, authentic conversations, they just be fire. We be having some good conversations, Jailhouse and I. And so, yeah, we need to just go live more often. But she's such a wonderful person. I truly love that lady. So, so special. This is weird. Excuse me, I'm sorry. What's weird is I have this what do you call them? Fancy lamps, like the stained glass lamps. What do you call them things? Oh, I have one of those, a tall floor lamp, right? So it has dragonflies. And I'm looking at the reflection of it on the screen of the computer. And I never noticed that there are some stones that are the eyes of the dragonflies. But it just caught my eye on the screen of the computer. And because of the light on the inside of this floor lamp has lit up these eyes. And so it's like two red eyes are looking at me. And it just scared me for a second. Didn't mean to go or there, but it just shook me for a second because I saw these two red eyes looking at me from behind. Ooh, that was weird. Anyway, you're welcome, Queen. And I will be back again. And like I stated, and this is the first I've spoken about it, but I've been experiencing a move in my spirit. I'll put it like that I need to make some changes. And that is what I shall do. And it is what it is. It's gonna be different around here. And I already expect the devil. And that's all right too. I mean, the devil got a job to do, and so do I. He's gonna be on his job, and I'm gonna be on mine. And that's that. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. And frankly, it's really none of my business. I'm just going to go with the flow of this move in my spirit. And that's that. Sometimes, or there comes a day, there comes a time when it's just time out for foolishness. I can't do the foolishness no more. I don't want to do it no more. I think I'm going to be done with it. It is what it is. But I will leave you with this thought. Love yourself. And never be afraid to go against the grain.